today's episode, we're going to be putting a flatbed on a 2009 Dodge Dually. This is an insurance job that the customer decided to cash out on. Instead of repairing the bed, they went and bought themselves a flatbed. We're going to be installing that. We're going to be showing you what we do, installing the new flatbed, then wiring it all up. Let's get to work.
Hello guys, I'm going to pull the tailgate off first, then I'll be doing the tail lights and then rear bumper. So I got the rear tailgate off. If you notice, this side is oblonged, not a perfect circle like that side is. On the passenger side, slides into this little groove, and that's what makes it the perfect circle. So you have to find the sweet spot to slide it off that, and then you just pull the other side straight out. So now I'm doing the tail lights.
Your boss is attempting to reach you on your cellular device.
And there's one tail light. So what holds these tail lights in is there's two screws on the inside that holds the inside in, and then the outside has two pop clips that just pop into those clips right there. And just like that, popped out. So now I'm gonna be working on the bumper. First things first, to remove the bumper, I'm gonna go through and disconnect all the electrical plugs that goes to the bumper. So I got all the electrical plugs that need to be undone. Now I'm going to unbolt these two bolts here and this one here. Now here's the passenger side. And I forgot to mention, there's two bolts on the outside also holding the bumper on. Now last two bolts. And just like that, the bumper's off. So now I'm gonna pull the bed off. There is 8 bolts total holding the bed to the frame, unless he has his fifth wheel rails bolted to the frame also, then that would make it 12 bolts total. So we'll see what happens. So now I'm going to remove the fifth wheel rails. I think it's time to get the bigger gun. Milwaukee wasn't doing it, so I had to go grab my 1/2 inch. It's moving. So the last 2 bolts for this fifth wheel rails, there's 4 holding them on, 2 on each rail. Rails are done, bed's ready to come off. I'm going to undo the filler neck screws. There's 3 of them. Filler neck's loose. Filler neck is loose. So now I'm going to get the bed hoist in place, lift this bed up, and pull the truck out from underneath it. Now we're going to pull the truck out and put a bed cart underneath the bed. Since the bed's off, I'm going to go out, cold start the telehandler and see if she'll start so I can let it warm up, so I can pull it around up front to pick up the flatbed that we're putting on that Dodge and move it into the mechanic shop so we can use the hoist. Maybe she'll start today. Took a minute to get it started because she was a little cold and it's been a couple days since we've started it. So now I'll let it warm up, pull it around, get the flatbed lifted up. This is what it looks like from the driver's seat. You got your forward and reverse, your first, second, and third gear, 4-wheel steer, middle's 2-wheel steer, and all the way to the right is crab steer, your steering wheel, your e-brake. This joystick is to pivot the forks up and down, and this joystick is to move the boom up and down. Then note this joystick right here is to tilt it side to side. If you can see, there is a sight glass with the marble in it. We're about 0. We go one way. You can see it's still tilting. And then move it back. And there's level. So now pull it around front. It just ran out of fuel right in the middle of the parking lot. So now I have to run and go get some fuel for it. So I don't know about you guys, but stuff like this always happens to me when I'm right in the middle of trying to do something. I guess that's just my luck. If it wasn't for bad luck, I would have no luck at all. There's my Mr. Mac dog. Okay, she started. So here we go. Right there's the flatbed. So I'll get the straps thrown up underneath it and hooked back to the forks so we can pick straight up, put it inside. got it in here. Got it on the hoist. So that way we can just lift it straight up, back the truck underneath it, lower it down, and get everything situated. Because we have to build mounts for it. And this is going to be the easiest way to do it and safest way. First, I'm going to raise the flatbed up using the car hoist. Right there's should be plenty. So now I'll go back to Dodge under. Okay, so I got the bed sat down onto the truck. And I got to see what I need to do for mounts and how far I have to go forward or backwards to center it, depending on where the wheelbase is. And by the looks of it, I need to pull the truck forward about 1.5 inches, 2 inches to get the wheels centered in the wheel well. Probably gonna have to make runners for it, but we'll see. So the customer asked if we could remove this right here. There's one on each side, and then there was 2 on the back that were attached to the receiver. And what they're for is a stabilizer to level out your camper for a slide-in camper in the bed so you can level it out. The customer also asked if we could put a couple of new exhaust clamps on, because under the cab somewhere, I haven't looked yet, but one's loose. And then a new hanger exhaust clamp for back here, because the one that's supposed to be there is gone. So I want to get all that done.
We've been hard at work on this today, and we have run into an issue. We have figured out that this bed is too short. It is the correct bed, it's built to specs, but it does not fit this truck. So we can't get another bed. We've called all day, had the customer calling around, trying to find the correct bed, the correct length. There just isn't one right now. I'll show you what the problem is. If you look right here, see this is our center mark. The wheel well is not centered in the axle. Standard, these beds have a 3-inch gap between the cab and the bed. So if we put that where it needs to be, the wheel arch is in the wrong spot. So we've slide this bed forward and we have a 5.5-inch gap, which is almost double what you want. So this bed isn't gonna work. What we've determined is we're gonna pull this thing back off. We've got the company that sold it to us coming to pick it up tonight, load it up on their truck. We're gonna be fixing his bed and reinstalling that. So flip-flop. We're not installing a flatbed anymore. Now this is turning into a repair video. We'll get to that after we get this bed shipped back to the company.
I think if I had the $5,800, this bed wouldn't be leaving because I'd buy it for my truck.
It's a good looking bed.
I'm a big fan of flatbeds.
Oh, and check this out. We got some 20-foot lifting straps sent to us. Jake up at State Farm, just kidding. Jake at Rocky Mountain Wrecker Sales hooked us up. We got 2 20-foot straps. Gonna make our life so much easier lifting this bed. Jake hooked us up.
Yay. I'm getting ready to strip down this bed to where we can fix and repair the bed. I have to take the inner wheel well splash shield, mud flap, the wheel flares, the dually off. So I'm gonna start with the inner splash shields. Inner splash shield. So now I'm gonna remove the wheel flare for the dual. There's a bunch of bolts all along the top, all along down the back side, all along the bottom. Same with the front, all along the bottom, all along the front side, and all along the top. The wheel flare is ready to come off. Pull out a little bit, and gently up. And that's what it looks like without them. A normal bed that they just cut the wheel well out. Now I just gotta get the wiring harness off, and it's done. Splash shield out. So wheel flare number 2 is ready to come off. Wheel flare number 2 is off.
Okay, what we're working on today is we got this Dodge bedside, smashed it in. We'll show you exactly what we're looking at here. Straight edge to see how bad it is pushed down. Get a good shot of that, Dinner. And how we're gonna fix this is welding these tabs and pulling straight up with our lift here while we've got the pressure on it so we can heat it up and massage out the dents. Now we've got these tabs ground and fit where we're gonna be welding on the pole. We've got a couple of these tabs tacked in place and we've got the chain rigged up on the lift, and we're gonna lift it up and tap to get the metal to release, and we're gonna have to work back and forth between a few spots. Still got a good 1/4 inch. Okay, we're gonna have to use a little bit of heat on this one to get it to release. We've got the bed strapped down, got pressure on it, pretty good pressure, and so we're gonna try a little bit of heat.
Yeah, so as you can see, we're just spraying this with some primer, getting it ready for paint. If you take a look here, you can see some of the pinholes and everything. We usually do with that is we spray the primer just a little slower, just a little thicker to help fill those in. And once that flashes and dries a little bit, we can do it just a little bit again. That way when you do the final coat of primer, it'll smooth it right out and you won't even notice it was there.
Back on the red bed that should have been a flatbed, but it's not. We're getting ready to paint it. We got it all in the booth. Taylor's got it all masked up. Got it wax and grease. We're gonna blow tack and static it off. And then we're gonna get the base coat put on it. First we're gonna start with some clear base, then the red base coat. We got a bumper in here that we're gonna take care of while we're at it. Little silver action going on at the same time. So I'm going to show you guys what happens when a shop doesn't take the extra 5 minutes to prep a bedside. So we're going to put a dually wheel flare back on this bedside. So whoever's painted this before, put a tape line right here. Rather than coming all the way to the edge like they should have, they just did it, covered, nobody's ever going to see it. Now don't get me wrong, that works, but that's not the way we do things. We take clear all the way to the edge. All right, it's go time. We got the first coat down. We're gonna go out and flash it off for 8 minutes. This color is gonna probably take 2 or 3 coats. Opacity is the ability for the color to cover. It's very limited opacity. That means it's very transparent, and we have to put extra base coat down to get it to cover. Got all the base sprayed. I'm gonna be going out for 8 minutes. Gonna mix up the clear while we're waiting. Come back in, we'll clear out the bumper, and then we'll get the bed sides cleared. And this thing will sit overnight and get it assembled tomorrow morning. We're gonna put the first coat of clear down. We're gonna wait 8 to 10 minutes, and then we're gonna put the second coat down.
What is happening?
Having a rave. You want a rave?
Is this disco mode? Ghost.
Now those lights are. All right, just kill the power. I don't know what the heck is going on.
6 hours later.
Hillbilly forgot to turn the camera on, but he put a B&W turnover ball in this morning. This thing right here, it gets a receiver hitch that goes inside of it. It's for hauling fifth wheel trailers. We put brackets on the frame rails, put these cross rails, and then we put the bed back over it. So next we're gonna get the hole drilled out. It's a 4-inch hole, and then we're gonna throw the bed on and get it all buttoned up. So I'm just gonna double check it before I pop the hole, because you don't get to drill twice. Sure, it's right.
You measure twice, drill once.
47.5 inches. Only by, yeah, that far, but still. That's why we just double check. 45.5. At least the center's on. Now I'm gonna center punch it. Let's see the drill. And if I sound weird, it's because I don't feel good. Lack of sleep will do that to you. Okay. The lift king is the king of lifting.
A little slideways.
Yeah, well, we're getting tight on the top.
Okay, we got the bed thrown on. The hitch is right where it needs to be. Now we're gonna put the tail lights in, the tailgate on, and Hillbilly's gonna work on getting all the bolts on, and this truck's gonna be done. I almost forgot the fuel filler next. We got 3 screws that need to go in here. We're gonna use the snap-on drill, so it's low speed.
No power.
Yeah, no power whatsoever, but. Okay, that's done. taillight time. All right, one taillight down. All right, that one's done. Tailgate's the only thing left to do. Okay, we're gonna get the tailgate put on and this truck will just about be finished up.
What are you doing?
All right, that's done. Okay, let Dinner get his giggles out. This is an awesome job. It was a super big one. We're a little bit bummed out that we didn't get a flatbed it, but it turned into a good repair job. So we're just gonna recap, show you guys what we did to the two bedsides and that B&W turnover ball that we installed this morning. Hillbilly kicked butt getting that thing on. We got it all put back together and this thing is detailed and ready to deliver to the customer. We got this bedside pulled back up, fixed it, painted. Everything was looking good on it. We got the new B&W turnover ball installed with the safety chain hooks. This was the super bad side. Cody got that thing worked around awesome. It's not perfect. Once they get some chemical in, we're gonna get a bed liner put in this thing. But in the meantime, we're sending it home and we appreciate you guys, so thanks for watching.